do? Like, is there like a lot of tension?
Or like El Generico?
No, I don't think so. And I think most people like me who are on the independents, I literally came to WWE expecting for them to not do anything with me. And expect to be doing something stupid, like, you know, Max Moon 2 or something like that. So it really, I think if you're an independent wrestler and you've been wrestling for years, you don't necessarily expect good things to happen, because you've seen, for example, my friend Bryan who I think is insanely talented as far as like he's entertaining, he's a good wrestler, all that kind of stuff. He got very, very frustrated here, and so when I signed, I came here with the idea of I'm going to work as hard as I possibly can and do the best I can with what they give me. And it's very difficult for guys sometimes to have such high expectations of yourself and then never getting the opportunity to show what you can do. But I think there's a kind of a new generation of independent guys who are like, okay, for example, look at Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. They are not doing what they were doing on the independents, and they're actually better off for it. The Shield thing, I don't know what you guys think, but I think it's awesome. So I mean, it's all of taking what they give you and making the best you can.
Let me ask you this question, which I already know the answer to. If you're trying to get into the WWE, and they've got a character that they would like for you to do, in which we're the biggest, and I feel the only company in wrestling, and you go out there and don't do it, how long will you have a job?
Oh, you won't have a job for very long. I mean, a perfect example is Johnny Curtis. Johnny Curtis was not doing much of anything.
Now last, what, 5 years?
Yeah, he was in developmental for how long? He's a very good wrestler. They turned him into Fandango, and all of a sudden he's winning a match at WrestleMania. I mean, that's a pretty slick trade-off, you know what I mean? And you still get to be able, it's a different character, but you still get to go out there and wrestle, so it's still cool.
And let me say this real quick too, and don't think that Curtis in next year or next month or in 3 years be another character, you know, like the different ones you've been. See? But as long as you're with the WWE and you've got a job and you're doing well and you're doing what they're asking and you're able to pull it off and the boss likes it, man, just keep rolling. Just keep rolling with it.
I think a great example of that would be Dolph Ziggler. I mean, I'm not even talking the Spirit Squad thing. Actually, as Dolph Ziggler, the "Hi, my name is" gimmick was really annoying, and who really thought he was going to survive that? Now, look, World Heavyweight Champion.
You look at him, right?
Absolutely. Let's go on this side of the room.
Well, the only road traveled for anybody young is try and get as many independent matches under your belt, so that when you do think that you're good enough in audition for the WWE, like, you know, whenever the company comes in to do a television shoot in all the major markets, when you feel that you're good enough to at least have some kind of presentation and audition in the ring. The business has changed so much for younger guys, because before we had territories and there was a better chance of getting a job, you know. But my advice would be is to train hard, get hooked up with some guys that are in the know of the business. You know, just not there's a bunch of guys out there, everybody, that will take your money and think that they can train you to be a pro wrestler, but there was a reason why they never made it. It's because they didn't know. Get hooked up with the right people and try and get as many matches under your belt. There's nothing like learning on-the-job training and working in front of a crowd. There's just so much you can do inside of a building with a ring, a warehouse, a training setting, as opposed to being out there working in front of the people and listening and seeing what kind of reaction that you're getting.
Yeah, when I first started, a guy named Rudy Boy Gonzalez, who was a local guy who helped Shawn Michaels at the wrestling school, said, essentially, you have to be willing to live for this. And And that's essentially what I feel like my generation has to do. If you're not one of those guys who the WWE looks at and says, oh, look at that monster football player or whatever, we're going to teach him how to wrestle. I had to move a million different places. I've lived on $20 a month for food. I've slept in my car, like that kind of stuff. And it's just that sort of thing. It's just, you know, you got to do what you have to do this. And all that sounds bad. It sounds bad, but it's not. It was fun. Like, me and Bryan Kendrick both slept on dojo floors, like, and it didn't ever seem like it was bad because we were having fun doing it. And I guess when you really love what you do, it's just putting in all the work and making your life devoted to being as good as you can at this.
Mick Foley would give you the same answer.
Yeah.
We have time for one more question.